fellow Stitch Witches. My name is Nicole, your head of the Crafty Coven, and welcome to today's very special spooky episode of A Thistle and Thread. So today is a very special Flosstube episode because it is the episode where I am announcing my very first Stitchalong that I will be hosting starting on September 1st, which is the Season of the Witch Stitchalong. Oh, I'm so super duper excited for the Stitchalong. I was inspired to do this because me and my family are taking a weekend trip in the beginning of September to none other than Salem, Massachusetts, otherwise known as the Witch City. And like for this trip, I'm going to be making all kind of like Salem and spooky inspired crafty videos for you guys. I'm going to be like crocheting my outfits for the trip, and I'm going to have lots of fun vlogs and like crafty content. And I just wanted to get you guys in on the spooky autumnal spirit as well. And what better way to do that than getting our hands on some crafty goodies and stitching something spooky together. So basically, for the Stitchalong, the only criteria is to stitch on something spooky, witchy, or like Halloween related. Really anything like that gets you in that autumnal spooky spirit. And this can be a new start, it can be a current whip, whatever you want. So you do not have to spend money and like kit up something new. You totally can if you want to. I will be starting something new. I haven't decided yet what I want to do, but I have lots of ideas swirling around in my brain. But yeah, work on some current whips, start a new one. I will be doing both. I have quite a few Halloween whips in my whip rotation that I really want to focus on this September. So I'll be working on that and also starting something new, because who doesn't love a new spooky / witchy new start? I'm so excited. And I thought it would be fun to make a video today kind of showing you all the fun, spooky, witchy Halloween kind of patterns that are out there. I've done a little bit of research and I have quite a long wish list. This Stitchalong does technically only run 1 month, so I'm doing it from September 1st to September 31st. And this is basically just to get our needles started and going and like picking up that pace for more autumnal stitching. So of course you can expand it throughout the whole fall season, but this is just for us to start it together and, you know, get really inspired and do something really fun and create community and all the fun crafty things that we can do. And if you want to join our crafty coven on Instagram, make sure you tag me at thistleandthreadyt with 2 Ds at the end of thread and use the hashtag Season of the Witch SAL, and that'll just help people easily be able to find you and the work that you're doing for this stitch along. And if you find other people that's stitching on something that's like really intriguing and interesting to you, go ahead and follow them and reach out to them and be like, oh my gosh, I love this, I'm also doing the stitch along. And let's just all be friends and join this little crafty sisterhood coven that we're creating. And I'm just so excited. It's just so fun to like meet new people that are passionate about the same things you are, and just also see all the fun, cool projects everyone's working on. So let me pull up my list. I have the list on my iPad and I have my computer in front of me. So I'm going to be searching them up as I go. And yeah, most of the patterns that I have are going to be more in the smalls category, I believe, because Stitchalong technically will only be running for 1 month. I really wanted to do something that's going to be really feasible and attainable for someone, because I know sometimes with myself, I'll go and start like something really big and then I'll feel like I'm just drowning in it. So I'm going to be offering a variety of smalls and large projects that you can start, or if you already have them started, you can continue to work on. But by no means do you have to complete the pattern within 1 month. This is just basically to get our needles going and to start something fun and spooky all together. So everyone grab their beverage of choice. Of course, I had to have a pumpkin spice latte this morning. No, gotta get in the spooky spirit. I got my spooky little witchy outfit on, and yeah, I'm ready to look at some spooky patterns with you guys. So let's get into all of the fun patterns that have been catching my eye for this stitch along, and maybe they'll catch your eye as well. So the way that I classified this, or the way that I broke down this video, is basically by breaking it up between spooky smalls and then the larger spooky projects. And there might be a few like a little bit larger projects in the spooky small section, but this is just to kind of get your creative juices flowing and figure out what you want to do, see some maybe cute patterns that you want to add on your wish list, and just have fun. This is just like a fun little shop with me video, basically. The first designer that we're going to be talking about today in the spooky small section is Finally a Farm Girl. And let me just tell you, I have been so obsessed with Finally a Farm Girl patterns lately. I have just been adding each and every one of her patterns to my wish list on Etsy or 123 Stitch or really any of the online needlework shops. And the top pattern that I think this is the one that I'm going to be stitching for the stitch along as my new start. And this is Witch's Brew. If you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know I'm very much into whimsy, like storybook stitching. I love anything with an animal in clothes. And this pattern particularly has a little teeny tiny mouse in the cutest witch's outfit. So not only is an animal in clothes, it is spooky, which is one of my favorite genres of stitching. And it has cozy little beverages, like a little mouse with a teapot. Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And this is probably going to be what I end up stitching on. This is, the stitch count is 100 by 57. And it says the finished size, if you're stitching this on a 28 count linen, is 7.14 by 4.07 inches. So not too bad, not too bad. I think I would stitch this on a 32 count just because that's what I typically have in my stash, but man oh man, is this the cutest thing that I've ever did see. This is so high up on my list. I love this. I have messaged so many of my stitchy friends on Instagram with this pattern because we're like going back and forth of what we're going to start for it, and everyone has said you need to start this. This is so you and adorable. So I mean, if the people are telling me what I have to stitch, I can't let the people down, basically. So the next Finally a Farm Girl pattern is another cute mouse. Finally a Farm Girl has a really cute series of basically mice named Matilda, and Matilda just, you know, lives her best life through the seasons. And if you're as obsessed with Matilda as I am, you're going to want to stitch every one of the Matilda patterns that there is. It's going to be definitely on that list. And this is Matilda's Brew. Matilda, you're killing me with your cute outfit. And she has the cutest little frog in her cauldron, and she's cooking up something nice. She's living her best witchy spooky life. I'm obsessed with her and her cute little pink rosy cheeks. She's amazing. This one is 64 by 81, so a little bit smaller than the teapot one. So that's really great. This one would just make a really fun itty bitty pillow, wouldn't it? It's so adorable. I love this one. The next little series from Finally a Farm Girl that I am obsessed with is her Beulah series, I believe it's called. And that's this cutie little witch named Beulah. And she is just the best. This pattern is specifically named Witch Beulah. And I love this because she is just fabulous. It's just Beulah herself. And I love the 3D broom element to this pattern. I think it just really adds a little something extra. And again, you have the cute little, is it a cat or a little mouse? I think it's a little kitty cat on her hat because, you know, a witch needs her familiar. And it is just adorable. This stitch count for this is 78 by 100. And I just think this is the perfect little itty bitty witch pattern that you need to your stash, that you need to add to your stash. It's adorable. The next designer we're going to be talking about that I think has some of the cutest primitive witchy spooky patterns comes from none other than Pineberry Lane. And I love this little series. It's called Fancy Blacket, which is their little witch series that they have. And it's the Little Fancies series. So I believe this comes with 3 adorable little primitive witch patterns, and it features a witch brewing tea, a witch drinking tea, and then a witch and her spooky pumpkin. These are amazing. The stitch counts on these are 37 by 50, 47 by 52, and 51 by 51. So you really can't beat these sizes, and to get these adorable patterns in such a small little size, incredible. I love the Fancy Blacket series. And I wanted to highlight was Fancy Blacket Witches Brew. You got 2 gorgeous little witches just, stewing over their cauldron, adding their little ingredients. And it has the lovely, just like primitive writing. I love the asymmetricalness of it. I think it has like even a little ghosty up at the top. It's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but I just love this one. This one would make such a cute little spooky small that you can make into a little tiny pillow and put it in like a Halloween dough bowl. Oh, I love that one. The stitch count on this one is 85 by 92. I mean, you get 2 witches making some magic and a tiny little itty bitty thing for 85 by 92. You can't beat it. You really can't beat it. I am obsessed with Fancy Blacket. I love when designers make these pattern series and they really like create their own characters, and then these characters have their own little stories. I just think it adds so much to the whimsiness of it. It's amazing. There's so many funny Fancy Blacket ones. You gotta check out Pineberry Lane if you want some fun, primitive, witchy, spooky smalls on your list. So if you're very much into the style of Pineberry Lane, but maybe witches aren't your thing, I highly suggest looking at the 4 pattern Cats and Jacks series from Pineberry Lane. And this offers 2 spooky smalls that have black cats in cute, amazing little dresses with their little autumnal scenes. Like you have one little black kitty cat with its lantern under the full moon, and then one just feeding the crows. And then the other 2 patterns in this series are little like jack-o'-lantern pumpkin people, and you have one in a dress and then one in more like men's clothing. And I love that the one that says Jack, he's holding a candlestick like under the big crescent moon. I think it's just amazing. And these outfits, we love them. So each of these is definitely small and is about 45 by 52-ish each. So perfect little spooky size for a stitch along. Next on our Spooky Smalls series, we have none other than Primrose Cottage. How could we not include some Primrose Cottage smalls in a stitch along video? I don't know. They have so many incredible small seasonal patterns that are just incredible, because sometimes if you're not a if you are a seasonal stitcher and maybe you're not like super into that specific season and you start something really big, it could take you years to like actually finish that pattern. And I really love that Primrose Cottage has so many seasonal smalls that you could easily get done within that specific season or within that specific month, and then you're able to actually enjoy it. So the first one I'm going to be showing from Primrose Cottage is the Halloween quilt. I love this one because as someone who doesn't quilt, I do want to quilt. This gives you that like really fun, just like quilted vibe, but then you have fun little spooky elements from like the candy corns and the pumpkins. Like the color palette's just super fun. With this, I feel like you could really play around with the fabrics if you wanted to, and the trim and like the backing. I love these. I love these little pillow small finishes from Primrose Cottage. And then another one that I have is Halloween Quaker. Let me pull it up here. And I'm a sucker for a Quaker motif, and this one, they're just so fun and unique because they add little tiny like fun spooky motifs within the Quaker. They're not just like, I don't know, structural, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Like, my favorite Quaker motif in this one is the candy corn one. I just think that's so fun and unique, and you have so many just cute motifs in this pattern. Like, the more you look, the more you see. Like, I love the corners with the bats and the spider webs. You have some haunted houses, you have candy, you've got the moons, you've got the birds. Like, there's really so much for you to stitch. There's numbers, there's letters. I feel like this would be very difficult to get bored, because if you get a little bit fed up or done with stitching one thing, you can easily move to something else within this pattern. This is for sure very, very high on my list. And if you've never stitched a Quaker before, I think this could be a really fun introduction into them and see if you enjoy doing them, especially because it's so unique. So the stitch count on this one is 85 by 85. So you've got a perfect little square. That's just such a fun, spooky, small, in my opinion. It's got like everything that you need for the spooky season. This is another really fun Primrose Cottage one, and this is technically a small, but like, I'm very familiar with those little tiny pillow seasonal smalls from Primrose Cottage, but I love this because I love a whimsy village. If you're very into the tiny towns, this is another fun variation on a spooky tiny town with a Primrose Cottage twist. And this is a witchy tiny town. You have like a cool witch's shoe building. You have a fun bat border. It's just a really fun, whimsical, witchy village. So that's Witchy Way. And the stitch count on this one is 93 by 46. So, you know, you can really dive in and just fantasize about living in a witchy village for the whole month of September while you're stitching this. Wouldn't that be so fun? This is so Halloween town. I love it. I don't know. It gives me that nostalgic, like, I hear the do 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 theme in my head. Like, the whole time I would be stitching this, I would be singing that song in my head. If you've seen Halloween Town from Disney Channel. Let's move into our next designer. This was actually a new to me designer from the last Nashville Needlework Market. And all of the patterns this designer released just really like spoke to me. And like, so many of the patterns were on my wish list. And her Halloween, or their Halloween patterns, are just incredible. They're very much like, I want to say like Amishy farm girl kind of aesthetic. And these ones specifically for Halloween totally fit that vibe. So this first one that I just love. I am obsessed with this one. I am a chicken girl through and through. My dream is to have chickens. Unfortunately, I live on a lake and I don't think I'm allowed to have chickens, but I can stitch as many chickens as I want and live my chicken girl fantasies. And this pattern will help me do that, and that is Halloween Hen. And I just think this pattern is pure perfection. And if you have chickens, or if you have like a farm aesthetic and you want something seasonal and fun for the spooky Halloween season, you need to get this one immediately. Immediately add it to your cart right now. Like, I'm gonna sit here and wait. You need to do it. And it's just so fun. I love the backing fabric. This is, it says it's stitched on 28 count Vichy linen by Nikki's Creations. So I think Nikki's Creations sells fabric as well, which is very interesting. It's a very light, kind of beigeish, what is that? Like a gingham kind of a pattern? I forget like what that stripy pattern is called. I would say like a gingham. It's a very like neutral gingham pattern, and it just has the most fun little hens on it, and they're all decked out for Halloween. You have bats, you have spiders, you have pumpkins, you have cats, and the stitch count on this is 100 by 52, so it is just the perfect size, and it's just so much fun. Add it to your cart immediately if this is your aesthetic, because I just think this is so unique. Next, Nikki's Creations little small pattern that I think is so fun is for all the black cat people, and this is Halloween Kitty. And this actually comes as a kit, I believe, so they do all the work for you, baby. You just have to add to cart and everything will come right directly to you. And I'm unsure of the stitch count on this, but it looks very small. And this is just a cute little black cat that has like an adorable stitch pattern. You have little itty bitty spiders and like the cutest little pumpkin. I just think this is an adorable small, and they have like a cute little pin or a needle minder that I think is just like on it. Oh, it's a kitty charm. It comes with a kitty charm. Say less. Say less. If something comes with a charm, that just makes me want to buy it more. It's a little accessory for your stitchy piece. So that's Halloween Kitty. And the last pattern from Nikki's Creations that I wanted to talk about was Halloween Magic. And this one's for all the people that love to stitch about stitching. And this is the perfect little witchy autumnal small for a craft room. It's perfect. You have a little Stitch Witch with a cute little like not thimble, but like a floss. I can't think of the word for it right now. Like a spool of thread. So borders of spools of thread in autumnal colors with all these super fun Halloween little itty bitty motifs. You could get really creative and put like a bunch of fun Halloween little pins, or like I know Puntini has such fun pins that you could just, stick right in there. And it would be so cute in a craft room. I love it. I love it. And those little black scissors are just like really speaking to me. The next designer that I'm going to be sharing a couple patterns from is Erin Elizabeth. And I love Erin Elizabeth as a designer specifically for her little tray patterns, her little tray tables. She has them in all different variety of themes and seasonal kind of motifs. And this one is absolutely perfect for the Stitchalong, and it's the Halloween tier. I love this because it is a smaller, more manageable size than some of the larger tier tray patterns, and I just think this would be like a really fun seasonal little stitch. It has a little Frankenstein and a graveyard. It has a little spooky Boo witchy cup and candles and cauldrons and bats and little spooky bits, and I just envision this in a very like maybe like a circular or like an oval black ornate frame, like just really sitting amongst other Halloween decor. I just think it's really fun. The stitch count on this is 66 by 84, so totally a manageable stitch for the stitch along. Then this other series from Erin Elizabeth that I just absolutely love. I'm unsure if she has these for other seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if she does, but this is her Halloween Block Party series. And I love a series because it could be like really customizable of how you may like want to stitch something. So you can stitch this in one big piece or in multiple different smalls. In this series, there's 12 little spooky smalls that are all inspired by Halloween. And I think this is really unique because it has a lot of like Halloween spooky cottages. So you have like a Frankenstein cottage and a candy corn cottage and a ghost and a shoe and a gravestone and a pumpkin. And I love it. And then like within those, there's all little like spooky smalls that have words and sayings, and I just think it would be a really fun series to stitch. And of course you could break it into little smalls if you didn't want to stitch it on one big piece. And the stitch count for each of these is 62 by 62. Designer I'm going to be talking about is actually a designer that was one of, I don't think I have it down here with me, but one of the first Etsy designers that I've ever purchased a pattern on and stitched something on linen was from the designer Fairy Wool in the Wood. And they create super like whimsy, lots of spooky autumnal patterns, and They're just all super duper fun. So check out Fairy Wool in the Wood on Etsy, but of course their patterns are available at various needlework shops as well. And this one I really enjoy. It's called Halloween Vibes Pillow Cross Stitch Pattern. And I love this for a spooky owl. I don't think you see many like there's a lot of patterns with owls, but I've never seen like an owl dressed up. And it's amazing. And this pattern also has like a very cute little dangly charm. I'm sure it's totally customizable to like what you want it to be, if you want it or if you don't, or if you want something different. But I just think this one's so fun. That little owl is the cutest thing ever. I just want to like squeeze its little itty bitty cheeks. And it reads, Halloween is in the air. I love it. This would look adorable in a doll bowl. And the stitch count on this is 36 by 70. The next pattern from Fairy Wool in the Wood that has a special place in my heart because I actually stitched a pattern from this series, and this is their ABC series, specifically their ABCs of Halloween. And I stitched their ABCs of Autumn pattern with the cute little gnomes, and it was super quick and it was just so much fun to stitch. And I know this one's going to be just as fun because it's a cute little witchy spooky pattern. I love the motif with the cauldron with the frog is going like, oh, like, and then like the witches casting their spells. It's just super fun, and I know these stitch up so quick. I mean, I was completely new to linen, and I only stitched this in a couple days. Like, as a new linen stitcher, I think that was pretty good. It was a really nice beginner pattern to start with. I'm unsure of the stitch count on these, but again, these are pretty small, so totally manageable for like a month-long stitch along. Designer I'm going to be sharing a couple patterns from is from none other than Shannon Christine Designs, and this is Full Moon Extract. And I just think this is so fun and unique. I've never seen a pattern like this before. So you have like a cute little witch riding on her broomstick up with the full moon, and it's almost like a label that you would see like on an actual extract jar. So I think you could play around and really do a lot of fun finishing ideas with this one if you want to put it on like a glass bottle and you could put lights in it. And I don't know, I just think it would be really fun. I'm curious if there's other ones in her series that are similar to this, because it says this pattern was from the 2023 Halloween Club and it was part 2 of the series. So I'd be curious to look into it. Stitch count on this is 58 by 67. So I think we all need a little bit of full moon extract in our lives, don't you think? Shannon Christine design that I have to share today is again for all my stitchers that love to stitch about stitching. This is perfect for a craft room. This is Bewitching Stitching, and this is an adorable little stitch witch just in her stitchy glory. You have fun little like quilted Quaker motifs and little stitchy designs, and you have a black cat and a spell book and a witch in an adorable outfit, and it's so cute. You have little buttons, the pins, the spooky pins. This one's just so super fun, and the stitch count is 67 by 96. Last but not least, for Shannon Christine Designs, I have a really fun, like, spooky kind of a home scene, and this one's Halloween Party. And I've honestly been looking at this one a lot because I really like these patterns that kind of take you into someone's home and just you get all the fun vibes from it. So this one is definitely a spooky Halloween party, and it's just so fun. I love the decor on the walls. I love everything on the shelf, and that cauldron with the potion bottles just really make it stand out. And I just think this would be really fun to stitch and just like be a part of your seasonal Halloween decor. I just think it's fun. It's fun to like escape into a new place. The stitch count on this is 89 by 101. Now, how could I do a stitch along, especially a spooky stitch along, without mentioning Heart and Hand Designs Tiny Town Little Creations? And this one is Halloween Tiny Town. Like I said, I'm super into submersing myself into a world that isn't my own. That's just like the fun about reading and the fun about stitching. It's just like escaping to a fun new place. And what better place could we escape to than a little Halloween tiny town? This one's so fun. I've seen people play around with the color palettes of these, and I just think this is a really great Halloween staple. And really all of the tiny towns are just incredible staples. I've seen people stitch all of these, and what an incredible goal. This would be so fun, and this is definitely on my list to be stitched at some point. I think I love this specifically for all the little ghosts just flying around. It's adorable. The stitch count on this is a little bit bigger, so I would say this doesn't like classify as much as a small, but I think it's still manageable, and that's 176 by 30. Super fun. I've seen lots of cool finishes of these tiny towns as well. So now I kind of want to shift gears a little bit from spooky smalls and go into a little bit more of like spooky stand-up, almost like doll type things. And I have to start with Stacey Nash's Animal Crackers series. She has, I believe, only two. I could be totally wrong, but the two that I found that are kind of spooky Halloween inspired are Dr. Raven, and this is just a really cute little bunny with that big crow mask that is very like vintagey looking, very spooky. And this one, and I love the small for this. It's like a lantern. It's so cool. I love it. I love the Animal Cracker series. I have quite a few in my collection, and I'm working on stitching my first one. These are just so much fun. And I really love her patterns because they have very straightforward instructions on how to finish them as well. So don't be intimidated with finishing your animal crackers, because she really holds your hand and tells you how to do it. And you could also look up online. I believe Tiger Lily Designs has a video of how she specifically finishes her animal cracker series if you're more of a visual learner like myself and would like more video demonstration. But definitely check out the Animal Crackers by Stacey Nash. Next we have from this series none other than a cutie black cat named Bones dressed as a little skeleton, and this one has a lot of fun little smalls that goes along with it. It has a cute little skeleton mask that you can tie on its little head, and it has cute little like fishbone skeleton shapes. And it's just really fun. I think this is my favorite of the two spooky animal crackers. And I know a lot of people are into black cats for Halloween. So I just think this one would be really fun to add to your collection. And the stitch count on this is 45 by 115. So these are super manageable to stitch. You could like theoretically really sit down and have this done in a week if you're like a very speedy stitcher. They're just fun little characters to discover. Talking about one of my new favorite designers that I discovered from one of my friends, Luminea, on Instagram. You can follow her at Forest Crone Crafts. And this is the designer, the Laurel Witch cross stitch. And this little trio of itty bitty little character smalls is called the Three Familiars. And you have three cutie little witchy familiar patterns that you can stitch. These are smaller than the animal crackers, which is really nice if you're looking for something a little bit tinier. And it's just really cute little familiars dressed in little adorable outfits. Like these are just so much fun. You have a black cat in a really fun dress with a cutie little apron. You have a very masculine looking owl in a really cute little primitive outfit. And then you have an adorable frog with a crystal ball. You could stitch all three, you can stitch one. The pattern comes with all three, which is really great. And I love these. And you need very like beginner basic sewing skills, of course, to finish these up. Very manageable, very easy. For all three familiars, the stitch count is 159 by 55 stitches. So maybe for each one, I'm unsure what fabric count that they stitched it on, but these are really cute. I'm really debating starting one of these Laurel Witch cross stitch patterns or the Finally a Farm Girl. We gotta see. I also love that the Laurel Witch has the series of little witches. I think these are like even more so my favorite than the little animals. And I love this because there are so many different varieties of witches. I think one of my favorites on her website is the Homestead Witch. Totally me. It's so cute. It has a little frog on her dress and she's with a little like black chicken. And I just think she's so cool. She's adorable. Her stitch count is 52 by 89. And there's so many other little witches patterns. You have the Spider Witch, which is another honorable mention. So many cute little witches, basically, that you can just discover on her website. And I love also the Summer Quilt Witch series, where there's just like so many different little summer witches, I guess. And with my favorite one being the Gnome Summer Quilt Witch. I love the color palette. I love her outfit. Now we're going to move a little bit into the larger size patterns, maybe a little bit of sampler action, maybe a little bit of Quakers. We're going to see what we get up to. So I'm going to stick with the Laurel Witch cross stitch for right now and show two of the larger patterns that I personally really enjoy that would fit the theme of this stitch along, with the first one being Flora and Fauna, Magic and Myth. And this one is so fun because it does have that stitchy element. It does have like the fingers with the needle and thread, but then you have a lot of like nature inspired and just like witchy motifs. And I really like the text style, the font. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. The font reminds me very much of like American Horror Story. I really enjoy it. And the next larger piece from Laurel Witch cross stitch is another Forest Gnome pattern. This one's just a little bit larger. This is Forest Gnome Magic. And this one is just very like alpine witchy gnome. And I love it. It has mushrooms. It has a cute little cottage. And it says, on a calm and quiet day in the forest of your mind, look for the magic that surrounds you. I just love it. It has a nice mountain scene with a big full moon. I just think this one's really unique and really, really fun. So this is definitely on my to be stitched list at one point. I don't think I'm going to get to it for this stitch along, but maybe it's one that like you need to stitch immediately and that you really want. And the stitch count is 125 by 125. Next, for my larger cross stitch patterns for this stitch along, how could I not talk about the Fancy Ladies, the Noras, the Mirabilias, the Bellas? Sometimes it's just so easy to fall in love with each and every one of these designs. Like I love working on a Fancy Lady. I'm currently working on Dewdrops by Nora Corbett, and I'm just absolutely obsessed, and I dream about having a Fancy Lady wall one day. If you've never stitched a Fancy Lady before and you're looking for something to dip your toes into, I would highly suggest starting out with a Nora Corbett pattern, just because there's less color change. They're just as beautiful as Bella's and Mirabilia's, but it's just a little bit less color change, and it's a good way to acclimate yourself to this pattern style. And as far as the Nora Corbett patterns that I think you should look at, she has lots of really great witch patterns, specifically the Bewitching Pixies series that she has, and that really speaks to me is Raven, just because I really love the background, I guess, of this, and I really love her like purplish black dress, but that full moon, that yellow contrast with the purple of her dress is just so super duper fun. And I'm obsessed with Nora Corbett. And if you didn't know, Nora Corbett is actually the designer behind Mirabilia as well, except Mirabilia's are just a little bit more, I don't want to say detailed, but they're just a little bit more technical. There's a little bit more color changes when you're looking into like the fading of things. They're just like larger and a little bit more like embellished, I guess you would say. As for the Mirabilias, the pattern that I absolutely love, and I have just been having this on my wish list for like months and months and months ever since I discovered Fancy Ladies, This one is Halloween Fairy. There used to be like an actual kit for this, but I believe you can only buy the chart now and you have to buy the rest of it separately. But who cares? Because this one is just adorable. It is just the perfect little trick-or-treating Halloween fairy. I love this. I've seen this stitched a couple times on Instagram, and each time I'm like, I need to do this. And this might be the year that I have to start this one because this is just incredible. And the stitch count on this is 106 by 120. Another fancy lady designer is Bella Filipina, and it's very similar to Nora Corpus, but a little bit of a different style. And I'm obsessed with it just as much. And the one that really speaks to me for this specific stitch along is Belina Botanica by Bella Filipina in the Black Magic Academy series. And I just love this one because she's just like the most beautiful little harvest witch, and she's just in her garden planting her pumpkins and just creating some seasonal magic. There's a little bit of a cottage silhouette in the background, and her dress is incredible, and I love the fabric this is on. It says this model was stitched on Heaven's Fury by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I just think it really gives it that depth and dimension that this pattern just deserves. And the stitch count on this is 196 by 165. On my list for larger patterns is from the designer Crochet A Go-Go, who is a very highly popular pattern for a very good reason. And the first pattern I'm going to be talking about is the Halloween sampler pattern. Now, Crochet A Go-Go has a lot of these different seasonal sampler patterns that are really just curated to that specific theme or season, and I love them. I specifically love this Halloween one because I just love the cast of characters in it. I love the witch with her cat in its hat, and then there's like a cat that's like in a cute dress, and a little jack-o'-lantern boy, and just crows and owls, and it has like just a very beautiful little Halloween autumnal cottage included. And then just, I don't know, I love a good sampler because it has such a mix of like fun borders with unique motifs, and then you get some words in there. I'm someone who loves to stitch words, so I don't mind an alphabet. I think they're really fun, and it like helps the pattern to go by a little bit quicker. And I think this one is so super fun, and I think you should check it out. So next from Crochet A Go-Go this is a fan favorite, I think, because I've had a lot of people message me this pattern on Instagram, and this is Madame Fortune, and I love this. This is such a clever pattern. It says paw readings, and the witch is just reading all the paws of all her little creatures around her, and it is just so super duper fun. It is so fun, and this one includes two different patterns. So it does have the larger paw readings pattern, but then it also has the smaller palmistry little kitty cat hand pattern. So if you're not feeling like stitching the larger one right now, you can definitely stick to the smaller one. But this is just so unique and fun, and I feel like you could play around with fabrics a lot. I love the trees, the candles in the trees, the spiders, and the bats. Oh, it's just so dreamy. It's so dreamy. Like, you can almost hear the music playing in the background, like, when you're looking at this. Like, it's just such a beautiful scene. And the stitch count of this, for the larger pattern at least, is 221 by 125. Last but not least, from Crochet A Go-Go, I couldn't not talk about these incredible, like, town scenes that this designer creates in all different seasonalities, but this one is specifically Halloween in Citta, and I love this one. The color palette is incredible. I love that like rich, almost neon purple paired with those like very interesting pumpkin colors. It just screams nostalgic Halloween to me, and I love almost like the carnival feel of this. Like, it's just the most adorable, almost like block party Halloween festival scene. I love this one. This palette is so much fun, and this world just seems like such a pleasure to escape into and get you in that cozy little mood. Like the perfect companion piece to put on like your favorite little cozy Halloween movie, whether it's Hocus Pocus or like QB Halloween or Halloween Town. Like, I think it's lovely. And the stitch count on this one is a little bit beefier, but it's worth it. It's 237 by 268. Way I could make a spooky Halloween inspired cross stitch video without mentioning the queen of witchy cross stitching herself, Mama Witch Cross Stitch. You can find her on Etsy or Instagram or Patreon or all the things. I will link her down below. And her patterns were actually what drew me to cross stitch in general, because I just completely fell in love with her designs. Her design style is very like whimsy goth cottage core, cutesy, spooky. Like, it's just amazing. There's no other designer making patterns like this. The patterns that I absolutely love for the Stitchalong, I mean, I feel like almost every one of her patterns could fit the theme of the Stitchalong, but this one especially is just so cute for all us little crafty spooky girls. And this is Midnight Crafter, and it is just the cutest little itty bitty bat showing off its adorable little ghosty banner that it's made. The stitch count on this cutie little itty bitty spooky bat is 106 by 97. Don't you just like want to give him a little hug? He's so adorable. I really like Mama Witch Cross Stitch because she really creates these characters of animals and really just puts them in these magical whimsy worlds with like a touch a little spooky and a touch of cottagecore, and it's just such like a warm and cozy environment. And this one just totally speaks to that. And this is all is spooky, all is bright, and it is just the cutest little fox showing off his handmade pie to all his spooky little ghost friends, and all the ghosts are enjoying adorable, cozy little beverages. You know, they're drinking some tea, some pumpkin spice lattes, maybe even a warm milk, who knows? They're loving their life and having the best time ever. And the lights just like really seem to illuminate, especially off this black fabric. And I love the mushrooms. This one's just so cozy and autumnal and spooky, and it's perfect in my opinion. I mean, all of these patterns are just like pure perfection. The stitch count of this little cutie is 111 by 111. Next, we have another one of my favorite designers. I'm only going to be sharing one pattern from this designer, and I actually do currently have this pattern in my stash, so I very well could do this as a new start. And this is Cuore Botanic's Halloween and cross stitch pattern. We're all Stitch Witches here, so we need to have something to commemorate us and our power up on our craft room walls, don't we? So this says, every witch loves Halloween and cross stitch. Is that not like the cutest thing you've ever seen? And what does this say? It says, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I didn't notice that it said this, but on the spools of thread on the shelf, like the little tag says pure spider thread. And there's like such cute little Halloween thimbles. I love the Halloween scissors and the cross stitch project and the pins. I might honestly have to start this one. It's really good. I love this designer. Like, you need to check out everything by Cuore Botanica. It's all pure magic. Not just this one, every single one that they design. This one, the stitch count is 210 by 240. Ooh, next we're going to be talking about a designer I've been like very into lately, and this is Ink Circles. I think Ink Circles makes such unique designs. I particularly love their like Mandala series. I just think they're so cool and unique, and I love that they're monochromatic typically, because I don't know, there's always something you can discover within one of these patterns. And this one especially is incredible. It's called Fire, Burn, and Cauldron Bubble. And it's like just a dreamy witchy mandala, and you could play around with the fabric. I love this purple colored fabric that it's on, but I really think you could play around with the color. and like your aesthetic and vibe you're going for. But it has cauldrons and cats, and like it's just so unique. And it's just something that someone could like really stare at and fall in love with. And it's just like a very unique piece. And this is 115 by 115 stitch count, so really not that big. So really, really great pattern from Ink Circles. I would highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. The second mandala that I have from Ink Circles on this list is their ghostly mandala. I love this on it says it's stitched on a London Fog fabric by Sullivan's Thread. I think it's so fun on a white fabric, especially since you're using like a variegated black. It almost looks like a black and blue thread. It says the thread is, oh no, the thread is London Fog by Sullivan's Thread. And this is stitched on a 32 count antique lace linen by Lakeside Linens. That's super cool. I love it. And it's glow in the dark fabric. Oh my gosh, I would love to see what this looks like in the dark. That is so cool. I think this has to be stitched on that fabric. Like there is no other substitution. It has to be stitched on this. That's incredible. And the stitch count is 115 by 115. Round of applause for Ink Circles. These are just so cool. The second to last designer I'm going to be talking about today is none other than Teresa Kogut. I love Teresa Kogut. I love her art style. She is a true artist, and I just love her pieces. They're so primitive, but she has her own little special touch to them. They're all incredible. The pattern is Silhowwitches Quaker. It's one of the first patterns on linen that I like kitted up and started, and it's such a fun piece. It is like mostly stitched in like a variegated kind of blackish thread. I think the thread is, it's Swamp Water by Weeks Dye Works. So it's almost like a greenish blackish thread. It's so fun. But then you have like the pops of green, which the green is Guacamole by Weeks Dye Works, and it's such a fun pattern. It is so much fun. I will definitely be breaking this one out for the stitch along because I am currently stitching on it. I'm probably like a quarter of the way through it. I think I have almost one full page of the pattern complete, and I just love it. I can't wait to have this up on my wall. It's absolutely incredible. It's such a fun witchy Quaker. It's such a unique Quaker. I don't know. I love it. I love it. And the stitch count on this one is 166 by 168. So another Teresa Kogut pattern that has always stuck out to me, but I haven't started it yet because I already have another Teresa Kogut pattern like in the works. And this one is the Halloween Sampler, which you can find it in the Hello Halloween Designs book that Teresa has published, and you can get that on, like any local needlework shop and website. And I am just obsessed with this pattern. The designs are just amazing. The color palette's incredible. I have seen this stitched fully a couple times on Instagram, and it just blows my mind each and every time. Like I love it. The border's fun. The cats are hilarious. Like the witches are just so cute. And I love this like little haunted house scene on the bottom. It's just like a classic Teresa Kogut spooky Halloween pattern. I know a lot of people have it. A lot of people have stitched it, and it's for a very good reason because it's incredible. Teresa really knows how to design a pattern. And this whole book is full of just tons of different incredible Halloween patterns, but this one is definitely the one that has always stuck out to me and has been like high up on my to be stitched list. And the stitch count of Halloween Sampler is 220 by 330, baby. So she's big, but she's big for a good reason because, she's a showstopper piece. So last but not least, I want to talk about some patterns from Witch's Garden Crafts, who you can find their shop on Etsy. They have like really incredible witchy patterns, but they have really incredible hand-dyed fabrics as well in their shop. And I have seen people talk about their fabrics in videos before. So you should 100% check their shop out, see what you can get your hands on. So the pattern that I really loved from Witch Garden Crafts is Kitchen Witch. And I love this because I'm a dietitian. So I love anything that has to do with cooking and food. It says it fits in a 6-inch embroidery hoop perfectly. And you get a little bit of everything. You get a fun border, you get to stitch some words, and some fun witchy motifs. So for all you fellow kitchen witches, you need this. And I believe they do have other varieties of this as well. Like I know there's a Stitch Witch one in their shop as well. So the stitch count for Kitchen Witch is 65 by 65. So a nice quick little stitch that you could definitely complete within the month. Lastly, one of my favorite series of designs that's on Witch's Garden Crafts is their seasonal witch patterns. And you can purchase these patterns as the 4-piece set or as individual patterns. And you can get spring, summer, Halloween, and winter. So any of these would fit the theme, but if you want to stick with more of the spooky autumnal theme, go ahead and get that Halloween witch and get your needles going on it. It is adorable. I love that she's holding a little, like, personal little cauldron. It's so cute. The border's fun. I love the little pots of pumpkins next to her. But I think my other favorite of this is summer because, you know, she's a harvest witch in this one. She's feeding the community, which I love. And I love her hat. It's fun. It's really fun. And like her little overall dress. I love this series. I would personally purchase it as a 4-pack just so I could have all of them in my stash. But again, you do you, boo. So the pattern specs on this is that the stitch count is 71 by 104. So very manageable, very manageable. I think that's it. That's all the patterns that I have researched that I wanted to show you guys that would be perfect for this season of the Witch Stitch Along. Again, you do not have to do a new start, honey. You do not have to put any more money into your craft. I know this stuff can be expensive. You can work on something that you already have in your stash. Or you can work on something you've already been working on and it's just a fun little way to use a hashtag and meet new people through it, or go start as many new things as you want. Again, I will be doing both. I'll be working on a bunch of my Halloween whips that I've already got going, and I will also be doing a new start. Hope you enjoyed and that you found maybe some new witchy, spooky Halloween patterns that you can add to your to be stitched list. Love to share all this beautiful magic that all these designers create because it's so, I don't know, there's just no other feeling to like find a great pattern that really inspires you and just like really gets you excited to sit down at the end of a long day or maybe start your day and just like completely veg out and escape into this like fun piece and just be able to work with your hands. I don't know, I get really excited about it, if you couldn't tell, because I chose like a bajillion and one patterns for this stitch along video. But yeah, that is everything that I thought would be really fun and that you guys would like for the season of the Witch Stitch Along. Let me know down below which ones were maybe your favorite that you've seen in this video, or let me know what you're thinking about doing for the Stitch Along. I would love it if you could join me. Just again, the reminder that the season of the Witch Stitch Along starts on September 1st and will run all of the month of September. And if you want to tag me on Instagram so that I can see your work, you can tag me at thistleandthreadyt with 2 D's at the end of thread. And the hashtag season of the Witch SAL. So not only that I can see your work, but other people in this crafty coven can see it as well. And I'm just so excited for this. I'm so excited for my Salem series that's going to be coming in September. So get excited for Salem vlogs and crochet videos and just like fun crafty stitchy content that's just curated to this like fun spooky season. And yeah, that was a long one. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you found something fun to stitch on. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!